All right, let's make this take 3. It's very windy. There's gonna be a little bit of wind noise. Not much I can do about that. I am using the truck here to block the wind. Um, and anyways, take 3. This video is 5, 6 things that you need to consider having prepared for winter. I know everybody's got their own little list of things to prepare for winter, and it's different depending on where you live and what your situation is, whether you're in an apartment, whether you're on some land, whether you have animals, whether you don't. Anyways, I'm just going to go with the basic 5 for your personal needs that pretty much cover whether you have, cover you not counting your animals or whatever, just you and your family. So the 5th thing, I think, I'm going to go in reverse order. The 5th through the 1st thing. Quickly, the 5th thing is I think you need propane. Now, you need propane and you need a way to use the propane. Doesn't do you any good to store 20 5-gallon jugs of propane if you don't even have a single propane stove or buddy heater or propane grill or anything. You need a way to use the propane. You're not storing it to be a barter item. You're storing it so you can use it, so you can cook, so you can keep yourself warm. So propane. Propane is not that expensive, and it is much easier to cook on propane than it is to cook on firewood. So yes, you should have propane. Now, firewood is on the list too, but that's different. So then the second thing on my list, but 4th most important, I think, is you need to have a backup power supply. Now, whether that is one of those batteries that you charge off of solar, one of those battery banks, or they call them solar generators, but really it's just a big battery that you can charge with solar, or an actual generator and gas for it. So you need a backup power supply. Should be able to provide at least 120 volts and 25 to 30 amps, so depending on what you're using. But you need some sustainment too. You don't want a backup power supply that's a backup battery and you're trying to run your whole house on it. That's not going to work. But for your critical loads, you've got your freezers, your refrigerators, your a few lights, if you have a water pump that you need to pump your water, that type of thing, you need to be able to have a backup power supply to be able to run those types of things. And you need, if you're using a gas generator or a propane generator, you need to have the fuel to use it. I would definitely suggest a propane generator and then store the propane for it. But anyways, a backup power supply, way to recharge it or to fuel it, and the extension cords or ability to power your devices. I don't mean your phone and your laptop. If you're in an emergency situation, other than being able to communicate, the phone and laptop aren't that big a deal, right? You don't need entertainment when your life is on the line. You need to be able to keep your food from perishing, and you need to be able to keep yourself warm and comfortable, warm and not exposed to the elements. So yes, propane I would say is the first thing, a way to use it, a backup power supply, and a way to recharge it or to fuel it. The third one is firewood. Now, say you're living in a house in the suburbs and you don't have a fireplace because it's a gas insert, right? Well, still keep some firewood. If you don't have a wood burning stove, well, keep some firewood, because you can put a campfire in your backyard and you could cook on it if you had to. If you have a charcoal barbecue grill or even a gas grill, you can always build a fire inside that grill and cook on it. Keeping some charcoal around is not a bad thing either. If you've got a charcoal grill, keep a couple bags of charcoal, you've got a way to cook. But learn how to build a small fire in there and cook on it. Even if it's setting a pot on the grill and cooking in a pot over a small fire in your barbecue grill, whatever. Have firewood. Now, if you heat with firewood, have plenty to get through the entire winter and then some. But even if you don't heat with firewood, or you don't have some firewood, so that you have that backup to be able to cook your food. Now, number 2 on my list, like I said, I'm going in reverse order, would be food. Have some non-perishable food, as well as a freezer full of protein. I almost said propane there, but a freezer full of protein. Have your chicken and your steak and your ground beef and all that, whatever you're going to eat, in your freezer. Having your backup power supply to run it in case you need to, but have the food. Food can be your second most important thing, and then the number 1 most important is have water. Way to filter water, but store water. And it's not just a gallon a day. Yeah, in the wintertime you might not need to drink quite as much as you do in the middle of the summer when you're working outside. And I get it, if it's this blizzard that knocks out the power and you're stuck inside, yeah, you're probably not going to be engaged in strenuous activity. You're probably going to be laying there trying to stay warm. But even trying to stay warm, you need to be able to drink water. You need to stay hydrated. A gallon might be sufficient if all you're doing is drinking during the winter, but more like a gallon and a half to 2 gallons, especially if you're active or you're shivering. But have water. And personally, I like to plan 10 gallons of water per person per day, and that allows for cooking, cleaning, not just cleaning your body, but doing your laundry and doing your dishes, because you're not necessarily going to run laundry every day. But if you have planned 10 gallons per person per day, you have enough to be able to do a load of laundry a week, right? And it might not be that the power's out, but it could be your pipes freeze or something else happens, and you don't have access to the water from the tap anymore. And in my case, I have a 1,500 gallon water tank that I'm not worried about it freezing. And I know I'm getting into what I currently have, but I've shown this on videos before. I have a water tank that is partially buried in the ground, and I have a filtration system, and I have a pump. And like I said, so in my case, I need the backup power supply, the water, but you got to be able to store water, not just have water from the tap, because if power goes out, that water from the tap is going to stop flowing, especially if you're on a municipal water supply. It's going to stop flowing within 48 hours or so, and power may not come back on for weeks. I mean, look at Hurricane Helene. Those people won't have power for 6 months or more, probably middle of next summer before they get power back. Anyways, you need food, you need water, you need food, firewood, a backup power supply, and a way to refuel it or to recharge it, and propane, and a way to use it. Another thing I would say, have warm blankets, warm clothing appropriate for the weather that you're going to be in, right? If it's summertime, have some summer appropriate weather, but we're not talking summertime here. We're talking preparing for winter. Have some warm clothing, jackets, heavy coats, insulated pants, wool socks, boots, even mud boots. Mud boots are great because, even if it's snowing outside or it's wet, get the mud boots, keep your clothes dry. Waders are okay, whatever. Anyways, have appropriate clothing and blankets and be able to keep yourself warm. And if you have to, power's out, your only source of heat relies on power, then you can run, you can group your whole family up in one room, like master bedroom or whatever, and lock the door in there, keep that room warm just from the body heat, and have extra blankets. But going back to the backup power supply, if you're on a house that has a gas furnace, this doesn't work if you have a heat pump, but if you have a gas furnace, you can run that gas furnace on 110. Most of them plug into the wall next to it. They're not hardwired. Some of them are hardwired with a switch, but if it plugs in, because that's the way they disconnect the power, you can run your backup power supply to that furnace and still be able to control it from the thermostat and run the furnace, even if the power is out. Because even if the power is out, there will still be gas in the gas lines for a while if you're on natural gas. If you're on propane, you're in charge of your own fuel, But as long as your propane tank has propane in it, even if the power's out, use your backup power supply to power your furnace so that you can stay warm. Now, yeah, that being said, so that's my list. Tell me what you think. I'm sure there other people are going to have other suggestions. Go ahead and put those suggestions in the comments below. I'm very interested to know your thoughts. And anything else I can, this is basically the first one of these little truck talks, I guess. We're not all going to be in the truck. Some are going to be next to the truck, blocking the wind. But anyways, I'm going to try to start doing more videos where I talk at the phone like this, and hopefully everybody enjoys them. But yeah, tell me what you think of this list. If you like this comment, like the video, subscribe, please comment below and share the video. Thank you everyone, and have a good day.